What's the deal, YouTube? This is your boy Eco Gamer, and this is gonna be my review of Nioh Complete Edition for PC and PlayStation 4. Now, Nioh, to put it simply, is like a love child of Ninja Gaiden and Dark Souls. It's got Ninja Gaiden gameplay. The only Ninja Gaiden I played was 3, but it has like the difficulty of the Dark Souls series games, as people like to say. It's a Souls-like game. Now, I have 100% completed the game. Not the New Game Plus. As you can see, I'm still working on that. I have beaten the Way of the Samurai. I have also beaten the 3 expansions, Tokyo Region, the Siege of Osaka, Winter and Summer. Now, let's go over the gameplay mechanics. Now, I'm going to show you guys some gameplay, but first we're going to go over the skill trees of the game. You earn something called titles. As you earn titles, you can increase your skill, luck, other such things. You can drop rate. You usually get these from killing players, which when you kill players, you get glory, which you later unlock, which you can buy certain costumes, which you can change your character's appeal. So as you can see, I've just got the base character. I've been kind of playing this game religiously. I have like 100 hours plus in it so far. I've reached level 345. So you could choose different melee weapons. You choose 2 as your primary to use. You can't change them up. So the weapons I chose to go with is the dual katana sticks, as well as the adachi. So that way you can learn different skills for these weapons. See, I got the dual swords maxed, and I also got the adachi. Each one has different skill sets you can use. Each one has a different grapple you can use on enemies. You can also customize your attacks. For example, I have the momentum perk and the grapple ability you can use to basically grapple enemies as they're weakened. And the cool thing about this game, unlike Dark Souls, you can actually see the enemy's health bars and stamina bars, which are very useful when you're fighting bosses or minor enemies or other such things like that. Items you acquire are these things called Amarita, which are basically your things used to level your character up. When you die, you lose your Amarita unless you get your Guardian Spirit back. You also have access to a cannon, which I have the best gear so far in the game, which you can you can shoot cannons, you can use arrows as a secondary, so you can have all this. So it's all about choosing which weapons you can deploy or whatnot between that. You can also choose different armors, and then you have different items. Amulets can imbue your weapons with different stat effects, different health items to heal you. It all depends on what you want to do. There's also something called the Twilight Missions, which you can use when you're higher level, which give you very rare gear as you level up. There's also something you unlock after you beat the game called the Abyss, which is basically an endless dungeon. There's 20 of them, which I'm still working on getting. And the deeper you go, the better the loot you get. So if you like hunting those cool weapons like you do in Destiny or something like that, you can have access to those. So I'm going to just run through a level and show you guys what this game has to offer and different effects you can use for such and such. This game is extremely underrated. Yes, the critics reviewed it very high and gave it like an 89 on Metacritic and all this sort of thing. And I know there have been some technical issues on the consoles, whereas if you play that, but I'm playing this on a GTX 1080 Ti, which you could say, oh, that's overkill for what you're playing it at. And yeah, I've seen people play this on a 1050 Ti and get 60 frames per second max setting, so that's no problem. So you got the dual weapons. You have your light attack, you have your heavy attack, you have different stances you can go with. They have the heavy stance, low stance, quicker, but does less damage than the high stance. You have the mid stance for all around attacks, and you can also sheet your blade. To switch weapons, you just switch it like that. You can also switch your cannon to an arrow, or you can go with a cannon. Either one you got. So you can take the cannon, lock it onto an enemy, and just open fire. Boom. See? You're dead. Now, let's see what we can do with some enemies in here. The game runs pretty good. I have it maxed out on my PC right now. You can also, and it also has graphical options to hit 60 on PS4 Pro, 1080p 60. PS4 base, you get 720p 60. So you can go that route. The game is very Japanese art style and all that sort of thing you'd expect from the game, since it's basically made in the 1600 and the old Japanese style, like, you know, the Osaka War and stuff is going like that. The Shogun's losing power, you know how it goes, and there's like the 2 centuries of peace, so on and forth. The main enemies you fight in the game are mostly yokais. Yokais possess water, they possess human corpses, you know, the usual. There's also onis in the game. that you can fight as well. You can also fight these dead players, which you can fight in the game as well. Your stamina bar runs out, like you can see here. Once your stamina bar runs out, your character will stagger, and if he staggers, enemies can basically kill you right away, which is why you gotta watch your stamina bar. You can also summon dead players from playing this mission and fight them as well. And your attacks can also get elemental attacks as well, such as lightning and poison. And as for your guardian spirits, they can basically imbue you with great attack strength and power, and you can level them up after you beat the game as well. Which once I unlock it, I'll show you guys how that works as well. Now, when it comes to the story in Nioh, Nioh's story is definitely very interesting. You're basically a guy who had a guardian spirit that was stolen by the main villain named Kelly. And Kelly wants to use that spirit to acquire Emerita from Japan and use it to defeat Spain in the British-Spain War during the Spanish Wars. And basically, collecting all the Emerita will guarantee England's victory. So your character goes back to gain his guardian spirit. He meets other ninjas, samurais, and warlords during his reign there. And he also gains new spirits as he progresses through the story. And once you acquire Kelly back, you can play the 3 expansions, and you play those if you want, since the complete edition you can get for $50. Now, when it comes to the bosses, half of them were good, half of them were really hard, and then there were a couple that were just, you know, straight up easy as hell. Even the final boss, Kelly, was pretty easy until he transformed into the Hydra, which is the final boss. Note, that is not a spoiler. So here's the Guardian Spirit you can summon. It basically imbues you with powerful strength. I'm just a really high level. That's why the guy died so quickly. But you can also summon the Spirit to give you a different attack. Each Spirit deals different elemental attacks and different attack skills. Now, as for the bosses in the expansion, they're a lot harder than the main game's bosses. So if you think the expansion bosses are too bad, this. So this is Nioh. He's considered the hardest boss in the game by a lot of fans. As you can see, he's kicking my ass right now. He uses lightning attacks. As you see, you get status effects on your character. It's always good to be careful with that. Also, watch your stamina. See, he staggered me there. Overall, I'd say Nioh is a very underrated game, and it's definitely worth picking up. I definitely am going to put it on my top 10. I am not much of a Ninja Gaiden fan, but I am definitely a Dark Souls fan, and this game definitely does feel like that to me, in my opinion. It's definitely out there. It's pretty good. I've been having a blast with this game. I know it can get very grinding at sometimes, and people may not like that, but overall, the game keeps it entertaining, so it doesn't get boring anytime soon as you play. So guys, this is my review for Nioh. Make sure to give it a like and a thumbs up. And if you like what I had to say, definitely let me know down in the comment section below. This is your boy Eco Gamer. Out.